What is mine?
Hello, we're calling to order the East Point Community School Board meeting at 6:32. Can you please call the roll?
Dr. Early,
Present.
Mr. Williams here, Mr. Roscoe,
Present.
Mrs. Richardson,
Present.
Mrs. Chopra,
Present.
Mrs. Whitby,
Here.
and Mr. McCain.
Here.
Thank you. Next, we have pledge of allegiance. We miss you, Dan.
My wheels is messed up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Can we please have approval of the agenda?
Place forth a motion to approve the agenda in its written form.
Second.
Support by many.
Who do we get?
1, 2.
Whitby, Mr. Roscoe and Mr. Whitby. Can you please call the vote?
Mr.
Ms. Whitby. Mr. Roscoe and Mrs. Whitby. Sorry.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Whitby,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mrs. Richardson,
Yes.
Mrs. Chopra,
Yes.
and Mr. McCain.
Yes.
With a motion of 7-0 vote, motion carried. Next, can you please have approval for the consent agenda?
Place forth a motion to approve the consent agenda in its written form.
Support.
With motion and support, can you please call the vote?
Mr. McCain,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mrs. Richardson,
Yes.
Mrs. Chopra,
Yes.
and Mrs. Whitby.
Yes.
With a vote of 7-0, motion carried. Next, we have our superintendent's report.
Good
Superintendent
evening,
Gibson.
ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Education. For those of you joining us in the audience and online, it's March 23rd. I cannot believe it's the end of March. The Ides are gone. And here we are. We are East Point Community Schools, and we've got some great things to talk about with you today. Received a call last week that not only we recommend 3 teachers to be recognized at the Macomb County Teacher of the Year celebration. And we'll have that dinner here April 21st. But I got a call last week that our high school teacher was selected as the high school teacher of Macomb County. So I'd like to congratulate Kira DeFrance, who was named out of the entire county High School Teacher of the Year. Kira runs self-contained, cognitively impaired classroom at East Point High School. Her class runs the recycling program at the high school. She also partners with local businesses and has built a work-based program for our students. And they've also recently started volunteering at Gleaners Food Bank Distribution. Stephanie Fleming, Lisa Petrella, along with the leadership at the high school last week, surprised Kira. Stephanie got her whole class to actually participate in surprising Mr. France, and we could not be prouder to recognize. I believe this is the first time since I've been here, first time since you've been here, 25 years. This is our first Macomb County Teacher of the Year. So a big congratulations to Kira DeFrance. What an honor, and we could not be happier to celebrate her and her commitment to this organization and to our cognitively impaired students. All of those teachers of the year, our elementary teacher is Karen Nardoni. Karen, this past year, stepped out of the classroom and 2 years ago into the intervention role. She has single-handedly revised Crescentwood's intervention program. Crescentwood is seeing kids who are 3 or more grade levels behind making great growth because of the leadership of Karen Nardoni at Crescentwood Elementary School. And then a big congratulations congratulations to Janae Dent, 7th grade math teacher at East Point Middle School. And then again, Kira DeFrance, and the district will have an opportunity to recognize them along with all of the Macomb County Teachers of the Year on April 21st. So congratulations to all 3 teachers. Little Shamrocks basketball wrapped up this Saturday. There was 2 championship games, play for third. Forest Park and Crescentwood kicked off the morning at 10 o'clock. And then the championship game was between Bellevue and Pleasant View. Things did get exciting at the end of the game. It was down to the last 30 seconds and it was a tie score. And so there was a free throw shot that won the game. Wow. Pleasant View Elementary School did win. Some of the, not everybody was excited about that because Bellevue played a fantastic game. But just a great opportunity. We did share this opportunity with some members of City Council and the city management team. Juanita Waltower came and made a great video and is posting that on the city's site as well. So don't worry if you're into Little Shamrock Athletics, the team is now working on a soccer season. So there will be some intramural soccer. And again, this basketball was the first launch of this. And as the board knows, this is part of goal 4 of our strategic plan. In listening to our community, our parents have been asking for more activities for kids, and the district was able to respond. And the outpouring of support from our parents, grandparents, at these events has been amazing. I want to shout out everybody who was involved in the Little Shamrocks basketball. Our high school athletic students were the referees, the announcers. They sold the concessions. So high school leadership in action. Congratulations and thank you to all of our students. To our East Point High School basketball coaches, Todd Wade, Marlon Legend, Myron Mosby, Anthony Brown, Ashley Jones, and Kennedy Fueli. They did a fantastic job of coaching the high school kids to then give feedback to the players, helped with setup, organization. Our high school cheer coaches, Tanya and Sharika, they did a fantastic job, including some of our younger girls who wanted to be in cheerleading, and some of our high school girls came and they did a cheer together on Saturday. And then a huge thank you to the East Point staff who started by volunteering. And Shannon Elliott, McKenna Williams, Macy Williams, Principals Trice, Piper, Meringue, Jens, Debbie Threet, Hannah Brownell, Lauren Robinson, Marissa Smith, Maurice King, Edwin McDonald, Janet Beiersdorf, Huffnagel, Jennifer Swain, and Janiyah Thornton. And then a big thank you to our reserve officers that helped to make sure everybody was safe, well in attendance for the game. Shamrock Spirit, as you know, so St. Patrick's Day was the 17th, and there was a whole lot of Shamrock pride out and about here at East Point Community Schools. These are a few pictures shared with us by some staff members. CTE takeover occurred last week. The CTE department at East Point High School is trying to get kids excited about CTE, so they had a takeover and did demonstrations. The East Point police were here flying their drones, and so kids got to learn about drones. The fire department was here to teach kids more about public safety, fire safety. Then the culinary arts department had cupcake wars and more. So a first-time event by the high school, but to celebrate and expose our kids to more opportunities and offerings in our CTE. Kindergarten iReady at Forest Park, just a great picture of Mrs. Buccelli's classroom, engaging in independent practice using their curricular resources. Got a chance to been getting out into classrooms, and I want to highlight Miss Jamie Shimmers. I got into her first grade classroom at Pleasant View where she had all the kids excited about writing, and she had built writing offices for the kids. And so they had all of their words that they could look at to spell, and it was just great to see the scaffolded approach to supporting writing in Miss Shimmers' classroom. So thank you, Miss Shimmers. Keep up the good work. Cynthia Williams Sandoval, District Librarian, recently brought in the East Point Memorial Library. This continues our efforts to connect our students to our community. It was Isiodore, is the youth and teen librarian, came and spent an entire day at East Point Middle School. Taught the kids all about the virtual library card, how kids can check out books, videos, movies online. He also shared with them all of the great spring break events. Parents and families watching this at home, East Point Memorial Library is having anime club, teen hangouts, gaming nights with pizza and refreshments. So if you have not checked out the East Point Memorial Library, please do so. There is tons for your students to do, and we are helping them to get connected. Big thank you to the East Point Middle School paraprofessional that runs the library, Jerry, as well as Cynthia Sandoval for making those connections between the library and our students. We've had star readers all over the school district, but this past week, we also had East Point Middle School students be the star readers, and they were the guest readers in K-2 classrooms at Crescentwood Elementary School. We've had Senator Kleinfeld, we've had House Representative Kimberly Edwards, we've got Judge Galen and Rotary. We have all kinds of people taking the time to come and read to kids and talk about the importance of reading. Kindergarten Roundup is happening tomorrow night, Tuesday, March 21st from 4 to 5. They will be hosting informational meetings for incoming families. These will be at the Early Learning Center. We will have a second series Friday, April 24th, 10 to 11 and 1 to 2. You can also enroll your students at any of our 4 elementary schools. Again, the registration is for students who turn 5 on or before September 1st. We can't wait to have all of your kindergarten students at our 4 elementary schools for next year. This evening, the Board of Education will have 2 discussions. The first about cell phone legislation. Recently, 2 bipartisan bills came through, Senate Bill 495 and House Bill 4141. Both ask Michigan school districts to create action plans that keep cellular devices away from children during class time, with exceptions for emergencies and when it is deemed for academic use. This evening, our Board of Education will begin to have a conversation. We will have to have a board policy in place by the 26-27 school year. So we will have to approve a policy before our kids return in the fall. The board may, in their discussion tonight, consider asking the superintendent and the team to get inputs from students, staff, parents as part of the work that we do. The board is being presented tonight with 2 sample languages. We are not adopting language tonight. We are merely opening up the discussion so that the board can give direction to the superintendent for how they would like to get feedback from our students, staff, and community. We will also begin a conversation on artificial intelligence. There is no required law that will force the board's hand at adopting an AI policy. We will be looking at some sample language tonight and starting the conversation. The board can decide that this study occur over the course of the year or give some time constraints to how they would like to go about this work, but the AI is moving quick. There are changes in technology happening faster than have happened in my whole lifetime, right? Since AI launched, it continues to change and evolve. Our Board of Education is working to be on the front end of this and to help set some parameters for how our district moves forward navigating AI. 3% staff retention bonus will be discussed as well. The board will have an opportunity to vote on it this evening. We began by negotiating in the 27L money. 27L was holdover money from the state of Michigan for tuition reimbursement. It was reclassed this year to be used for bonuses for staff. Part of the requirements were that we use it to attract, hire, and retain our workforce. This is also part of this board's strategic plan goal number 3. As our team looked at the funds that we had in 27L, we decided that we wanted to use additional 31A funds as well as general funds to ensure that every direct hire employee was given a bonus at the conclusion of the year. So our total ask of the board tonight will be a total 3% retention bonus. It will be part funded with 27L, part with 31A14, and part with general funds. This continues this district's work in creating an exceptional workforce and retaining them. This board did start giving these bonuses. The structure began in 2021 with an attendance bonus to incentivize teachers to come to work in the spring. So the board will have that action item this evening. I just felt it was important to spend a few minutes telling the community about how we're using all 3 of those funding streams to make this possible. Upcoming events, as I stated before, March 24th, we have Kindergarten Roundup. It is the end of the 3rd quarter on March 27th. We will be closed for spring break, March 30th till April 3rd. Central office will be open, so if you're a parent looking to enroll a kindergartner, you can come in Monday through Thursday. Friday for Good Friday, the offices will be closed. April 6th is a staff professional learning day. So students do not return back until April 7th. April 14th will be spring parent-teacher conferences. It is also testing day at our high school. It will be a half day for students. And then we have the second kindergarten roundup on April 24th. That concludes the superintendent's report this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Superintendent. Next, we have our first hearing of the public. Is there anybody who wishes to be heard for agenda items only? No? All right, seeing none. The hearing of the public opens and closes at 6:49. 6:49. Next, we have our first hearing of the draft of the policies and administrative guidelines for wireless communication and personal electronic devices.
Yep, as I shared in the superintendent's report, this is the board's opportunity to talk about how you will interpret cell phone use in the academic environment. The law requires that we make the boundaries. You were presented with 2 possible policies, so I'd like to open the floor for discussion and feedback as to the 2 policies that you looked at and the direction that this board would like to take as we start to navigate how we will restrict cell phone use in 26-27.
First thing I want to say about the policy, or the biggest thing is, I know we need to have it, the children to have phones for emergencies, but how will we distinguish that?
That is a great first question.
Because I know there are several schools that have, I don't know what they're called, but they're these pouches that you put your cell phone
Yeah, they put 'em right in.
so they won't have access to them in the classroom day. But then how do we secure them? And do we buy them for every classroom? Or is there a way that we can take the phone, have a locker or something to put them in, and some things like that is what
So currently, and I'm going to look at my executive team, I have not seen any money attached to this legislation. This is an unfunded law at this time.
And they want us to be able to take care of all of this with no money?
Correct. At this juncture, I have not seen in FY, and we don't have a final budget yet. So that does not mean that our legislators might not, they may include a line item in the FY27 budget. But at this time, and I don't see anybody jumping in to correct me, none of us have seen any funding attached to this law.
No, when I looked at our Friday information, we get one every Friday from Macomb, MESB, it was no funding attached to that either. It was no,
I feel like. Turn your microphone.
Yep, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I feel like we're kind of going overboard thinking kids need phones in case of emergency when they're in a school of 500 people, majority adults. All the school shootings I heard of, it causes the community to rush in and obstruct law enforcement. In my opinion, I think they shouldn't be allowed in the school unless the kid needs it for like their insulin pump or something like that. And then they could wear it in a pouch around their neck. And they cannot take it out.
And I think, I'll piggyback off in that, I think that my opinion from parents saying that kids need a phone, because it's those that walk home or walk to school by themselves, I can understand that. But as far as emergency and they're in school, call the office. I mean, there are volunteers, there are young kids that have office duty, and they're there to take the slip, to take the parents. And then some schools have phones inside of the classroom. So that's for that emergency. But the only way I could see it is if the kids walk to school or walk home.
But that
And, you
doesn't
know,
mean they have to have it on their person in class.
no, not in, I don't say in
Yeah,
school,
right.
but for that purpose. And I do know that just like teachers have their little box, mailbox where they pick up their mailboxes, their mail and stuff, they had these little boxes that's shaped like post office, the little kid boxes for the teachers. You could buy them they were at Staples, and now you can hardly find them at Staples and all of those other stores where you can get them and they expand and you open them up. Then they can put it in. The only thing is in some schools, they do have extra rooms in the office that they can lock it up, but I don't recommend leaving them in the classroom with teachers because that's an extra responsibility for them. And they have to be called out into the hall or something, and if they find a way, they can get in there. But I don't think it should be into the teachers' rooms or anything like that. It should be held or something done in the office downstairs when they come in, and on their way out, they can get them back.
Or with their personal possessions in the cloakroom, you know.
Well, now, see, that's, you saying coat room, so is that other kids go in the coat room? You know, so you can't, you have to make sure that they're safe, but if there is an extra room in an office, sometimes when I had an office, it was an extra room that we put supplies and things in, then that's one place, a safer place for me. That way no one has an option, kids or anyone, parents coming in, going in, getting other stuff. So, but the phone, it's been proven that the kids can do better because they watching those phones, they trying to do work, and it's been proven that they don't do work very well. And then also, in my last thought, stuff starts because somebody wants to jump on me, and they call in the grandparents and kids, and you let the kids out to school, and there's a whole army outside. So that's a problem.
I'm going to agree to disagree. From a safety standpoint, we have people entering, trying to destroy schools and hurt children as well as staff. So I would say that there should be some type of safety component as well as a time off and time on in terms of the phone. Let me stick with the phone for a minute. In the classroom, we're in a culture right now, you're not going to change them not having a phone. And that's just my opinion, just my opinion. And so we have to develop some type of instructional time and teaching, not only teaching the students, but also teaching the parents. Because a lot of times the parents is what's driving all of this. They're complaining on this side, but they're driving all the disobedience on the other side. I need to talk to my child. I need to do this. I need to do that. So why not try to teach at some point accountability, liability, those two
And
components there.
responsibility.
And responsibility.
There we go.
So if we teach those three components, I think we'll get where we want to start. Because this ain't going to be done overnight.
No,
Right.
no.
And to change people's mindset, that's not going to be done overnight. That's why I say I agree to disagree. But some pieces I agree, but for the most part, the start of this, we're really going to have to have more than a couple of conversations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and with this Senate Bill 495, is stating that minimizing digital distractions. That goes beyond cell phones. You got your computers, you got your laptops, you got your iPads. Anything that you can do on a cell phone,
You can do on
you
a
can do on
tablet.
these other devices as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah.
So how do we, I'm piggybacking, I agree to disagree. There's something that needs to be in place, but we have to figure out a policy. And based on this, it's not just cell phones,
No, it's wireless
it's
devices.
digital devices.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
That's because my watch can take phone calls, so I
Exactly.
can talk to you. I
You
can
can-
hit everything and go right onto my
Yeah,
apps to do the same thing
so
as
are
my
we
phone.
gonna, from the hours that the children are in school, are we gonna shut them completely off of all digital devices during learning periods in school? Or how are we gonna word this when we do eventually come up with a program? Because you can't just say,
No phone.
these things are your learning utensils nowadays, whether we want to agree with it or not.
Yeah.
Like you said, this is the day and age of the information age. These are the tools that our children use to learn. So how do we come to a happy medium to appease the parents, the children, our staff, our executive board, and Governor Whitmer's? You know, we got to come,
And it's got to be a policy that grows with,
there you go.
Yeah.
It
And
grows.
then
Technology.
I was thinking that, like, once they get it accepted in high school, you have them sign a contract.
Maybe it's possible, or is it possible, let's ask our students what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Because they don't want,
Yeah.
they can hide a phone in their back pocket,
Sure
got it on
can.
record, got the Bluetooth in the ear, and know what's I mean, like, literally, I'm sitting at the doctor's office with my Bluetooth, listening to a book, like, so we really need to ask the students, tell me what you're thinking. We have a policy that just came back down from, the powers that be that said, we got to do something about y'all phones and devices. How do y'all think we can handle this?
What do you think?
What do you
would be
think
the
we can
best
do?
way?
Because they know all the sneakies. They
Yes,
know,
yes.
we can put a policy in place,
Yes.
and they know how to go around it.
Yes.
And a policy is only as strong as the people that are enforcing it.
Yes.
Exactly.
If
As strong as the
everybody-
people who are following it, too.
Exactly. If everybody is not on board with it and enforcing it, from the teachers all the way down to the parents, to the
Yeah, that's
babies,
right.
I mean,
Hey,
it's,
my 4-year-old granddaughter.
So what I'm
working better
looking
than me.
at, what I'm hearing, it's being spread it all over. So why not, let's home it in classroom to classroom? Because going back with what you're saying, Addie, when you said it should go to the mailboxes in another place. But why not home it into the room, the 30 people or 15, 20 people that's in that room? Because now you're talking about responsibility and who's going to, if the phone is lost. So all of those different things you have to take in consideration.
Yeah.
So if you
or
put
if
it,
it's damaged.
if you have the small pocket, you can manage it better.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have to go to the office, because now you're only taking it out of the classroom and shifting it to the main office. So you're not really taking care of, you may take care of the phone for a minute, but you're putting responsibility now on the administration and the principal and everybody else to watch that. But if it's in the classroom, I believe you could.
That's what we seen when we were at that conference, the last conference. They had them little
Yes,
pouches.
the
in
little
every
pouches.
Classroom.
And then you.
And each one had a lock feature that only the kid could unlock.
Remember the white safety belts? Well, I used to keep mine. I slept with my white safety belt.
White.
I remember
White
orange
safety
and
belt?
yellow.
Shut up.
I'm sorry, I've never
right, y'all the orange safety belt area. Well, they
Okay.
used to be white.
I understand, I remember
Okay.
the white.
So what I'm saying is, you remember, thanks, Rob. Thanks. So if we have a captain, this is where I'm going with that. If we have a phone captain, and then put it on the children, put it on the students, they're gonna watch the phones, they're gonna nurture those phones, opposed to letting everybody come in and take what they solely desire to have their phone in their hand or in their hip. So if we utilize the children in what you're trying to set up and keep it in a small pocket, classroom to classroom, let them develop.
Okay.
But to watch and to, go ahead.
Okay, I'm speaking
I don't
as
wanna- I don't wanna take over.
experience, all right? First of all, kids understand that they can't have, each teacher had their own rule just
Yeah.
about when phones started. Kids had to trust me. They would trust me and bring their phone to me, knowing that I would protect it as long as I'm in the classroom with them. But otherwise, you have the kids have to trust you to bring you the phone.
Absolutely.
They're trusting you, and it's from period to period. And then I had some who would allow me to keep it all day, locked up in my closet. But then I had students who had one to steal my phone. Take my phone, okay? So it's like, it's a win, it's back and forth, you know? But if you have children that trust you, the high school students, I was high school, they trust you, they won't mind giving you their phone. But the responsibility now is on you.
Exactly.
So if
But that
you
gives our
can't keep
teacher
it
another
or lock it up,
Another responsibility.
In high school, they have lockers, though.
yeah, but you, you don't put their phone, leave it in their lockers, no.
It's
No.
locked.
People go in their lockers.
Kids know how to
They
pickpocket
go
them
in
lockers and open the babies up.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that would be appropriate, but people go in the lockers, they break in
You
the
have
lockers,
locker
they coats be
partners,
missing, they
yeah.
don't wear new shoes, stuff like that. People, it's the people, it's the children. And so if you want to ask the children, and then you're talking about 3 schools, you're talking about elementary, you're talking about middle, and you're talking about high school. High school students, you can reason with them. They have a little bit more responsibility. Some of them take it. Elementary, kids,
So currently, to that piece, because I also hear kind of a question there, currently, cell phones are not allowed in our elementary
Okay.
schools. So we already have, that time is protected.
Okay.
Middle school children, not supposed to have their phones in the instructional time. Really, when we look at our system, the biggest disruption is going to be to the high school.
To the high school.
Where the high school kids do have their phones with them all day. It is often very common that when they're done with work, they will have their phone out and be doing other things during that time. So I think when we think about the most impacted place in our organization, you bring up that point that it really is going to be the high school that would be the most impacted by this decision. And the board was presented with 2 possibilities.
Yeah.
Defining instructional time as the beginning of the day and the end of the day, or taking the second course, which is defining instructional time as class by class by class, but allowing the phone to be out at lunch and in hall passing.
Right.
So those are the 2 kind of possibilities. We've heard from a lot of the board. We have not heard from trustee McCain or trustee Whitby. I want to make sure that they get an opportunity to be heard.
I gave my 2 cents.
I'm sorry.
Yes, you
Yeah, what's your 2 cents?
You're right.
It's interesting to hear everyone's thoughts, because going into this, I was, like, looking at the different options, I was a little bit more in favor of option 2, which is basically defining it as from the first bell to the last bell, so you wouldn't have those in-between times. I like the idea, and I've used them for concerts, of having the little pouches that then are locked. It would be part of basically like the security when the students come into the building and exit the building. I think Trustee Richardson's comments are interesting. Where do we want to, like, does it make more sense to put the onus on the teachers and to give them another thing that they have to do throughout the course of their day because they already have a lot to do? Or is this something that could be better done administratively with those bags? So I definitely hear and respect the idea of, allowing them to still have, before and after school passing periods, those sorts of things. I also would very much be in favor of getting a policy on the books just so we have something. And then, continuing to have conversations and direct administration to engage with staff and students and parents and see what is a feasible policy moving forward. So, yeah, those are my two thoughts. And I guess the other question I would have for administration is if we are going to look at the pouches or things, is that something that we can easily bake into the budget? Is there a categorical that fits well under or things like that? So not anything you have to answer now, but just food for thought.
And may I
And when
say this, as you're doing that, we have to have something because we can start off strong, and as time go on, close to holiday, close to school coming out, close to things like that, we have to maintain. You just can't, you start off strong, and then as the year goes through, by the time June comes,
Be like, let them have the phone,
Out the
so then
window.
I ain't dealing with.
But
the
then if you think about the high school students and the instructional time, if we look at that picture, we have high school students that are in college part-time and high school part-time. We have high school students that work
Yeah.
and do other things. They have to check their schedule. They might get a text message or an email or something that's, they have to have an assignment in, or, those are all different things that are useful, that our students use for their everyday studies. So when you talk about instructional time, how broad are we going to take that?
Yeah.
Those
Also-
are just some points.
You have to think about that.
Also, if you think about it, when you take something away from anybody,
They want
it more.
Want it more.
So if you take it away from me during instructional time, I can do my 50 minutes. But when I get in that hallway, then I have the ability to call my friends, check my, you know what I'm saying? Or at lunchtime I can do, and so the cold turkey is not as bad as, you want me to, I got my phone right here, and I ain't on it, but it's sitting right here if somebody called me or something, you know what I'm saying? So if we do think about that, don't take it away from them completely, but get the parameters in there, because if you say instructional time from 8 a.m. to 4 o'clock,
They gonna figure it out.
baby.
Most adults can't stay from their phones from 8 to 5.
Now, that's
They-
something we
Adults
can't do.
can't
On the
do it.
other end of the spectrum, I read through, but I'm not clear on how strong the state wants these policies to be. Do we want to go hardcore, or do we want to just do the
Gradual.
bare minimum that they require, just so we
Can get
say we did it and get the money.
And that's the problem. They give us these directives, but they don't have
no money
nothing
attached, of
else
course,
to
so.
support anything
Yeah.
that we do. So
But I'm looking at, it's not against the law to have a phone.
No.
It's not even against the law for a 2-year to have a phone.
That part.
So now you're saying come in and take their phone.
Exactly.
Which is their property. There's no law to support them not having a phone.
Right.
So they're giving you this piece, but they ain't giving you that big piece.
Right.
No.
Want us
And
to
then
fight
if you
that.
think about it, if, like you're saying, the finances, if we rely on or try to ask the state for financial help, then they want to implement the way
What
they
they
want
want
to
to
do it.
implement.
So it's,
Yeah.
while it's in our hands, we need to, like you said, put something together that makes sense, that's feasible to
roll
them.
with.
We did it this way.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
we can
and then
grow
let
with.
them come back. Yeah, so we gotta, while we got control, we need to keep it and put it together, you know, like I
Talking about
say, it's
case
just a
studies? You
discussion.
talking about doing
Yeah.
case studies?
Well,
and
we
things of
need
that
to ask,
nature?
we really need to ask our students and teachers and
That part.
parents and families and stuff.
The parents, I believe the parents should be at the first course because they leave home with it or have it. So the parents should have and then I know some parents say, well, I work and I need to get in contact with my children or something like that. My thought there is that the office, I mean, if it's call, but then parents want to talk directly to their
talk to them.
child. They want to
wanna
hear
talk
their
to their
voice.
child.
They want to, they can tell if they're upset or something like that. So that's the only way I can think of personal why parents want to talk directly to their children.
So you're saying the parents should be the first one to buy in?
They have to, because
Because
other than
there's
that.
gonna have to be some
Yeah,
buy-in.
because they
Right.
paying for it.
They're
and they-
well,
you know,
some
if something
kids are
happens-
paying for their phones too. They'll take them high school
Kids
they
will.
pay for their
I
phones.
pay for my own stuff.
You know, they work.
will.
I mean, that's true too, but I'm saying, for the most part, the parents are the ones issuing the phones. If it get broke, it falls usually on the parents. If something happens to the phone while it's in Ms. Richardson's possession, who's responsible
Who's
for that?
responsible?
Is that Ms. Richardson? Is that the school district? Who's
much
responsible
Yeah.
for these
That's it.
incidents that could occur
Yeah.
while we are supposedly?
That's one of
That's
the
the things.
reasons I was opposed to taking the phone.
Yeah.
Like, make the student put the phone in their locker, or make the student, but it's their locker, it's their responsibility. We're not taking it away from them.
But if
You know,
it's
I
our
mean-
policy and it's on school grounds and something happens, they can flip that and say, well, hey, you told me I had to put it in my locker and somebody broke in my locker and took my phone. So who does it fall on now?
So I'll tell you what our parents think, is that our parents think it should be the school's responsibility.
Of course.
So as a result of your conversation this evening, I've written down what I think the board is asking myself to take back to my team. The first big note I heard is that whatever the board decides, consistency will be key. And that we will need to have buy-in from our parents, our staff, and our students if we want to make this law and the intent behind it have any impact. So then I'm hearing a request to kind of price out. So we know, how much do phone storage systems cost? Right? So that's an easy thing, I think, for our team to do. Then the question of how would we involve parents? And as the board is talking about the various people that you want input on, students, families, and staff, to me, that sounds like us executing a survey. We're letting students know, hey, students, the Board of Education is going to make a decision about cell phones in schools. Here's what the law says. What do you think?
Yes.
And then I'm kind of hearing the same thing for families and for teachers, in that it's part and educational. Here's the law, and the board has to now make some decisions about how we're going to interpret them. So I'm seeing heads nod, so I think I'm hitting the mark on pricing out the storage, finding a way to engage and involve students, families, and staff in this. And then ultimately, I hear this board saying that we really want to land at a place of moderation. We recognize that the cell phone has changed our society greatly, but we also recognize that learning may be distracted by the use of the cell phone. So it sounds like we're trying to land in a place of moderation. Does the board feel like I've captured this discussion and I have some clear next steps as a result of what you guys are talking about?
You're spot on.
I think so.
Okay, okay, great. So,
Ian,
Ian,
I
thank
just
you.
wanted to, again, uplift trustee Roscoe's comments. I think as I chew on this more, there's an education piece. And I think that's what you were just hitting on, Superintendent Gibson, where
Yes, you were just hitting on it.
these devices have sort of been thrust upon us, and I'll point the finger back at me. I know I get distracted all day, every day by all the little pings that we get, right? So, and do we have to look at that email or that text message or that Facebook notification when it comes in? No, we necessarily don't. I think we could all develop more healthy relationships with how we utilize or use or abuse or overuse technology. So I think that's, yeah, as an educational institution, it's just another opportunity to
we
to
put
learn
So I'm going to
together.
add education as a key part
yeah.
to that, too.
Can we put the law or a link to the law or something on the
In the
website?
survey, on the website.
On the website, in the survey, maybe a post or
Right.
something with the law, so people can have an opportunity to read. I mean, it's daunting if you don't really understand it, but.
Yeah, I think our team
And I
can.
know at the beginning, when phones were coming into the schools, teachers tried to have it so that the kids could use it. Some math teachers were letting them do the math with instead of the calculators, they do it on their phone, or for research and English part, we had them looking up various topics and things like that. We tried to uniform it so that they can have they can use it.
Right.
But then it just, with the media
out
and
of-
everything else
yeah.
got in there, it just, that doesn't
And
work.
parents,
Yeah.
right? Like, as a superintendent and as a parent, I can tell you, I've accidentally texted my kids during their school day because I have something important that I want to tell them and I don't want to forget, right? Like, so even an educator still struggles to remember that, you know, like, this is the slippery slope, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like the board is asking me, as a result of this conversation, to have my team price out phone storage options, add information to our website about the law, and then elicit feedback from students, families, and staff. And I think we can really target this to the high school campus. And then the other part is the educational aspect.
Does the high school have a parent-teacher conference coming up, or was that over with?
They have the half-day for assessment, not as much for parent-teacher conferences.
But if you put a survey out
Yeah, at
during the
that time.
parent-teacher.
But we can put the survey out to all of our families and
Yeah.
try to engage, and I can try to have that done by then.
That would generate the buy-in.
Right.
So let's return, and I'll work with Dr. Early on when to bring it back. But I'm thinking I'd bring something back in June with some perception data for you. And then we may choose to invite some high school students if they have a passion about it, or
Yeah.
the high school principal to be part of the
Yeah,
input for the
I think
next
so.
one.
Yeah.
Or at
Even a
least for
few
him to
parents as
provide.
well.
Can you invite some of the parents in?
Yes.
Yeah, well, so we'll start by trying to engage our families with the mechanisms we talked about today, and then I will bring forward more data to the Board of Education as a result of this conversation.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
we'll
you. Okay, next we have the draft policy for the administration of policy on AI. Another one.
Well, no laws are chasing us as we look at this AI policy, but AI launched in this school year, 26-27. It is already revolutionizing and changing the way many people work. I've also seen it impact people's social media page tremendously, and the HR office is no exception to that. They do use AI to make pictures of their executive director look like a leprechaun.
What?
And other fun things. So AI is infiltrating our offices and our classrooms. This is not as time sensitive as cell phones, but it is here. I'm going to kind of pitch to Trustee Ian McCain, who has done a deep dive into AI and is going to give us a brief overview of some of his learning here, and then we'll have a discussion as a committee of the whole. Trustee McCain?
Speak up.
Thank you, Superintendent Gibson. Can you hear me over there, Trustee
you speak
Richardson?
up loud.
Okay, wonderful. I'll try to keep my volume up so you can hear me the whole time.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, Board. What I'm going to share with you this evening is basically boiled down from, 15 or so page document down to a page and a half. So using Claude, which is my favorite AI tool at this time. So basically, the purpose of this conversation is to equip our board and the district administration with the knowledge and tools to develop a comprehensive artificial intelligence or AI use policy and implementation playbook, action plan, whatever term administration and the board decides to use. So as generative AI continues to rapidly reshape education, ECS must establish clear guidelines that support student safety, staff readiness, and future-focused learning. So we'll run through some key AI concepts, kind of learn about some of the districts that are utilizing it right now. We do have two potential policies that Superintendent Gibson and her team have presented us. And then I have just a rough timeline, which I'll have to update a little bit, but just to share what some of my recommendations are, and I'll be sure to send this out to Superintendent and Wendy so you can get the Reader's Digest version and then the full 15-page version. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. Some general terms. When we're talking about generative AI, this is a tool that creates new content. This could be text, images, video, code. Some of the tools right now are ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Claude that I mentioned earlier. And these are part of the broader category of AI called large language models, which power these generative tools. And so basically they're trained on these huge data set to understand and produce human language. But they're not perfect. So sometimes they have what's called hallucinations or fabrications, which is when AI produces inaccurate or made up information, which is underscores the importance for human review. So responsible AI basically makes sure that there are design principles to ensure these systems are safe, fair, and free of harmful bias. I think the most important term, though, that I always come back to when it comes to AI and implementation in any organization is the concept of human in the loop, which is the practice of keeping human oversight built into AI processes to ensure accuracy and accountability. So from start to finish, at every level, you have a human going through verifying what AI is putting out and how you're utilizing that information within the organization. Just to give you an overview of the landscape in terms of what other districts are doing, there are more than 20 Michigan school districts that I discovered in my research, including Birmingham, locally Chip Valley, Ann Arbor, Fenton, Dexter. The Kent ISD is doing a ton with AI. And these districts have already developed AI policies, have task forces, or have already integrated different AI tools into their classroom instruction. So it's a great opportunity for us to learn from these models, but also to craft a policy that's uniquely suited to our community. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have two policies in front of us that Superintendent Gibson and her team have shared with us. Within the document, there was a policy that I think was a little bit shorter that Clark Hill had provided a number of months ago that, again, is in the broader document. So things that we're looking at, acceptable student use, is when a teacher explicitly grants permission for a specific assignment, when the student properly attributes AI-generated content and does not represent it as their own individual work, right? Because we want to prevent plagiarism in the academic environment. And then when it's authorized through a student's individualized education plan or IEP. Then we can look at potential prohibited student uses, for example, when we want critical thinking or original work during closed book tests or quizzes, and we want to make sure that students are not committing academic dishonesty or violating any of our other district policies, including the Student Code of Conduct. So the timeline I originally recommended was, again, it's a little bit different now, so we'd kind of be diving in now around March. Another recommendation I'd put forth was a task force composed of students, teachers, administrators, and board members. Then to get a survey, like an accurate sample size of around 10% of our teachers and students, just to see who's using AI, which AI systems are they using, how are they using it, and then to get that information together to share with the board and the district just to see kind of where we're at to inform where we're going. And we could then use that information to actually draft a full AI use policy, an implementation playbook or action plan, getting towards the end of this year and going into the beginning of next year. So in conclusion, AI presents both real challenges and transformational opportunities for our students and staff. ECS must not fear the future, but embrace it, moving boldly from an industrial revolutionary model of education towards one that genuinely prepares our students for the 21st century and beyond. We owe that to our community, our students, and ourselves. And again, happy to share the abbreviated version of the document with Superintendent Gibson and Wendy, which then has a link at the bottom to the much longer version of the document if you feel like going down the rabbit hole that I went down for the last 6 or so months. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. McCain, thank you. There is a lot going on here. I think that we need to get ahead of this process also, just like the phone system. If y'all agree, we need to get ahead of it. My biggest thing with AI is, like, I just showed Mr. Roscoe an AI-generated picture of myself with me, and it was funny. It had everything about me, my nonprofit, my sewing machines, my crafting. Like, this is the picture, and it's me. And so that is going to be our biggest problem. It's not going to be, I think, cheating or any of that. I don't think that's going to be the biggest problem. I think the biggest problem is making sure that we define what system we want to use, because it's not that we're going to have AI, because we're going to have it no matter what. We have to define what is district approved, something that we can use, that when you run that information through it, you look up your kids, are not just AI generated a paper, because me and Trustee Richardson was talking about it. When you have been in a classroom and you know how people write, you know their voice. I can see a letter from Mr. Roscoe and a different one from Mr. Williams, and I know who wrote it because I know their voice. And so I believe those teachers know the voices of their students, so they know. If you can't come up with some words and you can't even spell it and you write it in a report, you know what I'm saying?
But how would you set boundaries to that?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. We need some kind of AI district use that can be used, because of course, this is another one, that there's no money trying to help us do anything. So any software we buy, we have to buy. Any parameters that we get, we have to do ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know so much about backing a specific AI system or like program. I think we more want to govern how the individual student utilizes
Uses it.
any AI.
Exactly.
Like no misrepresentation of anyone around you, no, things like that.
You know, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's something
yeah.
that can be like, hey, if you run this through the system, we can see that you cheated based off these parameters that the system shows or whatever. I don't know. When I did papers the last time I did papers, they could tell if we plagiarized or if we did the research that was required.
Yeah.
And it's, given, if you did go to AI, tell me where you went
Right.
to get it from, because
Resource information.
there's going
How
to
many
be
schools in
resource
Macomb
information.
County is using?
You said 20, I think.
Yeah.
You said 20? Yeah.
20.
That's across the state.
That's across the state, yeah.
Yes. So there are a few front runners in the county. Chippewa Valley has already started to develop, they've implemented a policy and have a task force in learning. Michigan Virtual has been a leader in this AI space, presenting at
Yeah,
a number of
they have.
conferences.
They have presented.
And have shared information.
So can we get their
Copy
policy?
of that and then look at it?
Michigan
and so
Virtual.
you
Yeah,
utilize it?
the AI policies that I presented to you, the two policies, those are from Clark Hill that represents a number of districts throughout the state. So those are
Okay.
the recommended policies that they brought forward.
Michigan Virtual.
Okay.
Okay.
So
When
I'm reading
I,
that to get a
when
better
we went up to
understanding of-
Traverse City, I took a class, that AI class, just to see, because they invited us just to see what it's like, because as Ian said, don't embrace it or don't be afraid of it. So I went in, and I have to think about the time when we didn't have media and computers and things like that. I'm gonna tell my age, because
I
it
don't know
was
when
the
that time was.
computer took up the whole room at Northern High School. It was a one room, and now you can put it in your pocket.
I don't know when that time was, Ms. Addie.
It was a whole room. They had to have plenty windows and air, because it took up a lot. But the thing is that you, just like the computers and everything else, it's money. It's someone generating wants money. I know that when I get on my phone, and if I'm not paying attention, AI will pop up on me at first, and I have to take it off. No, I don't want AI. And the thing is that a couple of days ago, it was stated that a lot of people were using AI for medical things, and they stated that 25 to 33% of what AI states. It's not even medically founded. So it's not something that, it's not something you can turn your life around into. Medical society says it's wrong. They take, and then the thing I don't like is they force themselves on you. I mean, you don't have to ask for it. It's already there waiting for you. And once you do it one time, and I don't do it, I just, because I see my kids, they do it one time and they all in it. So it's like a takeover. So it's not, I don't.
But one thing about it, it's a process that has been developed to assist us.
Really?
You can turn it on and you can definitely turn it off. It's a program written, driven mechanism. So it only helps you if you allow it to help you. If you say something, like I can call Gemini, hey Gemini, take me to such and such and such and such. It's not gonna do anything unless you give it a command. And that's what we have to realize. So we don't have to be afraid of it, like Ian said, but we have to put, the question becomes, it's already here. How do we police it? How do we get to a point where it's a tool that we're gonna all be using, because it's growing faster than a wildfire
It's
in
definitely
California.
robust. It's definitely.
So you have to be able to embrace it and utilize it just like all other tools that we have in our technology toolbox. So, I mean, but once we start acting like it's something that's out of control, it's always in control. It's just how you control it.
Individual driven.
Yeah.
It's up to the individuals. So as a school system, more than one individual,
Yeah.
how is that going to work?
We have to come up with a policy and a plan.
Well, we gotta make sure it's a learning tool, that's what you gotta.
Individual.
Yeah, because
Utilizing it.
we have to,
The AI.
we have to develop, it's a bunch of different platforms that AI provides. We as a district have to come up with the 3 or the 5 or the 6 that we're gonna use as a district.
I don't think we can
have
do
to-
that, though.
I mean,
I think that what I heard Shelley say, and where the sample policies that I provided you for your consideration are that we're not going to go down a rabbit hole of a particular vendor.
Right. Right.
Instead, we need to put up like bowling for children, some guardrails, some bumpers in the
Right.
lanes.
Yeah.
So that we keep it going in the right
streamline.
direction.
No, I mean, and that was my example. I was just trying to,
Can I reach a little further than that?
Absolutely.
Who's protecting the brain? I mean, if all this jump in, the brain is not developing. I mean, it's just
At all.
sitting there dormant now. So how do we protect our children? Think about that question.
I thought about it when it comes to writing. English teacher, you give the high school research things that they need to search up and do for themselves. They no longer have to do that. There's no, you get to college, you just let your phone or your computer do it. And there's no thinking. They're taking away the thought process. They're taking away the steps to complete something or how to. You know, you don't have to how to anymore. Just turn something on and it tells you how. Now, it might be right, it might not. But, I mean, it's the thought process. It's just taking it away from us.
you have to teach your children, we have to teach our children to always think. Think first. And, common sense is not common, but you have to teach them to think.
I don't think we have to teach them to think, though. I think.
Well, always encourage them to think.
That's it. We have to encourage them to think,
Encourage
not teach them to think. We have to encourage them to think and
Outside
see
the
where they're
box.
going. Like,
Yeah.
because even when you do a research paper, there's a database you go into to grab those research
Yeah,
papers
exactly.
from. So they're going somewhere to get the
Exactly.
information.
Right.
And
So
back
you just
then,
have
we
to
used
make
the
sure we keep them
encyclopedia.
in the place.
Yeah.
In the process,
Yeah,
Right.
Because, we used to use
Give us where you got that
We
from.
used to use
Yeah.
encyclopedias,
Yeah.
and now we use whatever, like the professional journals and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
But like Ian said,
You gotta keep them in that space.
in his presentation, I mean, Mr. McCain said in his presentation, you have to, when you write in a paper, you have to give us the links of where you got the
That part.
information
Yeah,
from.
the
and stuff like that.
citations.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Process.
But you always encourage them to think, and that's the part that's gonna fix and encourage and feed the brain, Mr. Roscoe.
Yeah, I think that's what it's
As long
going
as
to
they
take.
feed the brain, because it's something to think about, I'm telling you that. Because, I mean, it puts everything on pause when you really look at it. If I don't have this, if I don't have my cell phone, where am I at now?
That's why we got to keep sending them to the library.
Yeah,
So,
And no one knows phone numbers anymore.
so,
Yeah.
but you don't even need a library card. You use a virtual
I
card.
just saw that virtual library
Yeah,
card.
virtual library card. You don't even have to have a physical
He ain't
library
trying to
card.
say something down.
Oh, go ahead.
So I want to bring us back to, again, I think the most important term that we went over today, and that's human in the loop. This is not spitting out fully formed thoughts. It's not giving you things that are automatically 100% baked and ready to go. When I get a paragraph back from AI, I'm editing it because I'm very particular on how my writing goes. So yeah, it takes a little bit more time for me to do that, but it's still net less time. And to the point too, you still have to cite your sources and things like that. So AI will typically give you a source if it's pulling from somewhere else. You can go and look and see, is that a reputable source? And so that could be part of the policy. That could be part of
Yeah.
guardrails too that teachers can put on that can say, you have to use a scholarly journal or Encyclopedia Britannica or whatever, So it's not ending thinking, I think it's helping us come to the final result, but it's not the end all be all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You still have to have a
And you just
human
made a
in the
good
loop.
point. You
Yeah.
just made a good point, because you said, because if they make a paragraph for you, you look at it and then you decide from your speech, what about our babies? What about our babies? What about the ones that have not gotten to that place where they can look at something AI have done compared to something that they themselves would have done?
And
I used to love when Cliff Notes came out, when you had to read a novel.
Yes.
I mean, it didn't give you, it gave you the basics, but you still had to come up with your
Yes.
own, you had to put it in your own terms.
Yes.
And we'll always have, abridged versions of things, right? Like the
Yeah.
Reader's Digest condensed books that I have a bunch of for my grandparents at home. So, but that's not fully, that's not like everything, right? Like we still want more. We still have to teach our students and ask more
Yeah.
of them. And that's part of the education process.
Right.
It's as much of us putting together a policy as it is helping the educators utilize the tools while still challenging the students
Yeah.
to learn and grow within the education environment.
Yeah,
So
it's,
just like
So-
Chrissy said, superintendent said, there's that elementary, there's that middle, and then there's that high school. So are we going to start with high school first, or are we going to
no,
try?
it's got to be across
So I
the
just
board.
was, I was just coming back to, Ian had, trustee McCain made kind of a summary of his timeline, and on the last page, he kind of laid out a possibility that I'm going to read back to the board to consider. And when Ian first did his research, it was in November, December, so this timeline is more that, but
Yeah.
his first recommendation was that the board go ahead and adopt an interim AI policy, which at least sets the guardrails. If you're going to use AI, you need to cite from it, and I think we can look at one of these policies. So Ian's recommendation, after all of his deep dive, was that we at least get an interim policy adopted. The second request was that we form an AI task force that involves students, teachers, administration, and maybe a representative from the board if the board chose to. And that perhaps we run, and I'm thinking that we could run a task force that does work and reports back to us about this time next year. And that way, we set a policy that starts to protect the district. We also have to remember there's a liability piece to this with ChatGPT and with these LMS language servers, that what goes into them is how more comes out. So Then I hear the board saying that we really want to return back to the critical thinking skills that are important for our students, how they cite sources, and then we want to have something that governs how employees are going to review. So if I'm hearing you correctly, my team will deep dive into those two policies. We'll recommend one to bring forward, and then the team will add to our year 4 strategic plan that we're going to launch an AI task force to come back and present in the spring of next year. Does that capture the conversation well?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Secretary Williams? Okay, you're laughing over there, so I thought maybe there was something different. Great, thanks so much.
And I think that, I mean, we're not doing a vote or anything, but our task force should include Ian because he's the.
Okay, you do want to have a board representative?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we will be charged with making an AI task force for next year.
Yeah.
We're asking that trustee McCain serve as the board representative on that team. And that my team will go back and look at the two policies, and we will recommend one as an interim policy for us to
Yeah.
take action
Because both
on.
of them had good,
Both of them had good
Good, yeah.
guardrails
Yeah.
inside of them. Okay, so I will recommend and do a little bit deeper dive into an interim policy, get a task force together going, and then have some conversations about how we'll retain human critical thinking. Trustee Richardson.
Just a thought, since both of them had something that could be accepted, could you have something where you're checking both of them out to see which one feels better or
We
works
could-
better?
We could combine them in ChatGPT.
There you go. Good one, good one.
So you want me to make policies using ChatGPT? Is that what I heard correctly? All right.
no, that's not what she said. No.
Well, thank you so much, Board of Education, for your thoughtful review of the laws, your review of the policies, and for this great discussion about how we will continue to move our district forward. Thank you, Board President.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have our School of Choice 105. And we have a resolution.
You do, my office is continuing to recommend that you approve 105, that is in-county school of choice.
And so we need to do, is there any discussion, anybody want to discuss the in-district? That's in Macomb County is what the in-district is. No? Okay, we can call the vote. Or do we-
Board President, we would need a motion
Oh, I'm sorry, we
first.
need to make a motion to accept the School of Choice 105.
I make a motion to accept the School of Choice
Support.
105.
Support.
Okay, with motion and support, please call the roll.
Mrs. Chopper,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
No.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mrs. Richardson,
Yes.
Mrs. Whitby,
Yes.
and Mr. McCain.
Yes.
With a motion of 6-0, motion's carried.
I'm sorry, Board President, it was a vote of
I mean,
6-1.
I'm sorry, not 6-0, 6-1. I just wrote 0, but it's a 1.
You're not zero, you're one.
I know, I always try to get that. Yes, so next we have School of Choice 105C. This is out of district, so that would be someone
The
from.
out of county.
I mean, I'm out of county, excuse me, so that would be somebody in Wayne
Wayne
County
County.
or Oakland County.
And while our numbers of school of choice students have decreased, we still do serve a number of students who live in Wayne County. I am recommending that we continue with 105C for the 26-27 school year.
I move that we adopt School of Choice 105C.
Support.
With motion and support, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Whitby,
Yes.
Mr. McCain,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
No.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Richardson,
Yes.
and Mrs. Chopper.
Yes.
With a-
Yes.
With a vote of 6-1, motion is carried. Next, we have the Human Resources recommendation for approval of the 3% retention bonus.
Yes, as Superintendent Gibson shared earlier in her presentation, we're requesting that the board approve the 3% retention payment to our employees that would be paid at the end of the school year. It is tied to, again, their earnings. So there's some prorations on there based on if they've started later in the year. And it does have an attendance factor to it as well. Employees would need to not use any what we call dock days or unpaid time, meaning they've run out of sick time, because we do want to encourage attendance through the rest of the year here. Weather's getting nicer, but our kids still need to be taught and taken care of throughout the year. So we want to encourage a good attendance as well as one of the incentives to receive this bonus. As Superintendent Gibson said, this is a combination of 27L money as well as some 30A and general fund money combined that will make up the 3% for our employees.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Mr. Dean?
I think in this report, it was said for eligible staff.
Yeah, there's eligibility
Eligible.
criteria, which we provide as part of the memorandums of agreements with the union. So based on when you were hired, based on whether you have no dock days for attendance, you have to be employed at the end of the school year. You couldn't have resigned at the end of the year and still receive a bonus. So we just have some criteria to make sure they stay eligible to receive it. That benefits the district and the students.
Okay, so eligible meant attendance, all the things that you're looking at, but it's not separating from the time that you came in, or is it for that?
It is. It is a prorated share. So if you're an employee that has worked since the beginning of your contract year, say you're a principal and you've begun August 1, and you've worked all the way around, you'll get a 3% bonus on your total compensation. If maybe you got hired in December, you're going to get a prorated amount based on your earnings December to the end of the year.
Okay, so you're going to get it, but maybe not as much as if you started in the middle,
Correct.
more
It's
so
going to
than
be
at the beginning.
prorated based on your date of start. These bonuses are only for direct hire employees. They are not for third-party employees. So that's the eligibility piece.
So you're totally going by the collective bargaining agreement?
These were all bargained individually. I'm sorry, Mr.
Yeah,
Naforis.
they were separate memorandums of understanding that we negotiated with each of the union groups. So specific to their groups, the language is almost identical because we wanted to be consistent with how we gave these bonuses out. But each group negotiated with me and we signed a letter of agreement. It represents, the contract in that their contract salary is defined by the contract and everything, but we just had to identify the provisions of eligibility that, again, are very consistent across for all groups.
No TAs or anything?
No tenant agreements. They're all signed memorandums of agreement,
All right.
and they are all in agreement with this, and they are very appreciative of us continuing to look out for them and offer these retention bonuses to thank them for their continual commitment to the district.
Thank you.
You said they know what? TAs.
Yeah, someone wanted to know what what is TA?
Tentative agreement.
Tentative agreement. Tentative agreement.
Union,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
English.
I understand. Tentative agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any more questions? No? Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve the recommendation for the 3% retention bonus.
Support.
Can you please call a vote?
I'm sorry, who?
Early.
Okay. Dr. Early?
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mr. McCain?
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mr. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mrs. Richardson?
Yes.
Mrs. Chopa?
Yes.
And Mrs. Whitby?
Abstain.
7-0? Okay.
Okay, so with a motion of 6-0 with 1 abstain, motion carried. We have somebody who works for the district, that's why they abstain.
Right.
Okay. Next, we have our second hearing of the public. Is anybody wish to be heard? Open it up at 7:50. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Robert Fuller. I'm an East Point resident. And I was listening to your discussion about cell phones
Robert, can you check and see if your microphone is on? There should be a green dot, there's a small button
At the
on
end
the
of-
stem of the microphone,
End of the-
and follow your hand all the way down.
Now I am.
Yes. Now you can speak.
Again, my name is Robert Fuller. I'm the East Point resident. I was listening to the discussion about cell phones, first of all. And at first, it was talked about for emergencies and also if the teacher in the classroom needed it. Then you went to AI. So doesn't AI, wouldn't that need a cell phone or some electronic device? So does that compound your decision when you get to it, okay, how you're going to handle the cell phone, because now you're throwing AI into it as well as other learning? Okay, just the point I made.
That was good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, overlapping.
Anybody else wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Jennifer Nicholas, East Point resident. Yeah, with the cell phones too, I wouldn't want to be making a decision on it. We did not have cell phones in school back in my day. But I did have a thought, though. You talked about getting students' opinions on it, and I wondered if it would make any sense to maybe have a trial run, maybe a week or 2 weeks, where students could not have cell phones at all during the day, you know, and then maybe a week or two with it the other way, where they could have it just at certain parts of the day, and get the students involved, and that way they could try it out without this actually being a law or a rule that they have to follow. You never know. You hear about school districts where kids are actually happy not to have their cell phone on all the time. It actually gets them more involved in school. Just a thought. The other thing I wanted to talk about, the last meeting you had spoken about having a meeting, a joint count with city council and school board. And again, I think that's an excellent idea. They spoke about it at the city council meeting last week. You know, originally when you talked about it, I had thought about it as benefiting the school board, getting more support from city council or city administration, and I was looking at it that it would be a benefit for this body here. But after the city council meeting last week, I think it might maybe be the other way around. Maybe you could help inform them. Looking at the agenda for the city council meeting last week, item D was discussion on committee to meet with school board committee. The item right before that, item C, was discussion on request for earlier hours at adult use establishments. Our adult use marijuana facility wants to be open at 9 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. because according to them, there are people waiting in the parking lot for the doors to open at 10 a.m. So in their mind, that warrants them opening an hour early. And I don't know if it's just me, but it just seems incompatible with the idea of a family town. And, you know, we would have our marijuana facilities open 99 hours a week. They would be open on Sundays from 9 a.m. till midnight. I just, again, that's why it kind of changed my thought process that maybe Board of Education might help City Council to focus more on the family
The
values
kids
in
and
the
the
family
families.
town.
Yes.
The City Council members that will be joining you on this committee, Karen Scott, who is a teacher, and her views on the marijuana facilities are very clear. She is very much opposed to them. I think she'll be a benefit with you. And Mayor Kleinfeld is the other one. Now, he is for this. He is for this, so that's something to think about. But anyways, thank you all.
Thank you. We can close the hearing to the public at 7:55. Next, we have trustee announcements, but before that, we need to go this way because we need to hear about the legislative report from trustee Richardson.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and to the board. As you know, it was sort of rocky in November, December coming up as far as our budget and everything. And sometimes the legislative meetings was canceled because Governor Gretchen had not given her speech until till February. So we sort of have quite a few, and I'm going to try to be as fast as I possibly can. But it was talking about various areas for the allowance and the transfer. Previous increase did not fully offset inflation, labor market pressures, rising instructional and operational costs, lack of prior year 24-25, increased compound the shortfall. District risk reduction to programming and staffing without a significant adjustment. And in all schools, all school aid and transfers in 2025-26, at least $1.3 billion was taken from the school aid fund to cover the general fund for university and community college funding. Returning these funds to school aid and cover CTE, all dual enrollment programming, including middle and early college programs, along with the transportation funding. Retirement, the MPSERS costs. Full funding is not needed for pension and retiree health obligations. Districts are required to pay more than an additional 15% of total payroll costs to the state for the closed pension fund. And this does not include raising normal costs and districts, and they have no control over and rely completely on the state for investment purposes. It also stated that because of the change in the Medicaid changes, we're going to enter to a shortfall as well, about 8 to 9 million. Restore 147A, cut to both districts and ISD. Macomb loss for 26 was over 9.5 million. Adjust GSRP funding to CBOs and charters to reflect the fact that they have no required UAAL contribution. Special education, the recommendation language at 15 million. Section 56 reimbursement remained flawed and has cost Macomb County to lose over $6 million in special education funds since 2023. Continuing to increase reimbursements for costs already spent for districts would have a positive impact on all Macomb districts, done through higher reimbursements of high-cost students and increasing the reimbursement percentage. Transportation. Transportation's categorical funding was included but remains insufficient. Reimbursement models should continue to support only districts providing and documenting services. Full funding estimated to be about $650 million. Current is $125 million. Funding included for possible fund money for scholarships and reconnect, dual re-enrollment, CTE, and middle college. 100 to 250 million statewide needed to fully support SS, probate as necessary. And they said, we will receive that, but it's a one-time. Limited infrastructure and facilities. Limited or no dedicated funding for emergency repairs, aging facilities in financially stressed districts. Capital needs continue to grow without a sustainable support mechanism. Need an adequate formula that doesn't leave out these districts will have already made necessary repairs out of their savings or through bonding. And I gave the superintendent and the president a copy of this because it has some categorical programs included, and there's just too much to recite. So I go to the literacy and structural long-term recommendation. Macomb ISD has been working with the state of Mississippi for over a year now and has identified key pathways to success for improving reading scores across Michigan. Mississippi went from 44th place up to 10th place. We believe that narrowing our focus and resources to maximize students' impact should be delegated at a countrywide model with state support. This would require the legislator to invest both short and long term on resources that ensure statewide participation, but also give each county enough flexibility and time to meet the needs of their students' population. Beginning in 2026 to 27 school year, deposit $500 million into literacy fund, one-time money. Money will be allocated or held for each ISD county on a per pupil formula, and it was suggested that each pupil would be about $80. ISD and locals will follow state models that identify curriculums that maximize focus on science of reading. Resource will be census-driven and required full support by all parties to fully implement and train on selected curriculum and support. Models should include high-intensive tutoring, targeted grade level, and building support. Utilize reading utilize reading coaches to surge buildings and programs with largest needs. And the last one is what I had highlighted because it says hire retired and other non-education working retrained professionals to support interventions and direct instructional substitutes for coaching and training support of current classroom teachers. And finally, property tax and revenue structure. Michigan's current school funding structure increasingly diverts revenues originally generated through property taxes to other priorities, including higher education and non-K-12 programs, reducing the share available for local school operations. At the same time, schools are expected to operate under Headley rollbacks, taxable value caps, and expanded exemptions and abatements. These policies sufficiently contain revenue growth at the local level. The combined effort is less predictable and insufficient revenue for K-12 schools, especially as cost rises. Revenue diversions and exemptions shift the burden in unattended ways. Homeowners and small businesses shoulder a larger share of the tax load. Larger scale exemption reduce the base while demands on service increase. Communities with slower property values growth are disproportionately impact. Reliance on property tax limitations increases state budget pressure, forcing schools to compete annually for replacement dollars rather than benefiting from stable, locally generated revenue. This structure undermines long-term financial planning, the school aid fund, and to some extent, equality across districts. Voters' trust when locally approved millages yield diminishing returns, and without reform, districts face growing gaps between costs and revenues, increased pressures to seek new millages, and fewer resources for classroom safety. Students report. Policy implication, and it's the last one. Modernizations of the property tax and revenue framework is essential to 1, stabilizing K-12 funding, 2, protect homeowners and small businesses from disproportionate tax impact, 3, reduce volatility in school budget, and finally, ensure property taxes intended for education stay in K-12 education. And they gave us a choice of getting a letter draft so that if anyone who wants to write to the policymakers or legislators, they can easily send a letter to the appropriate with your name, address, district, and everything, so that we can tell them to come on, be real. We're working in a deficit. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that you go to those meetings and bring back the information that we need.
Thank you.
Okay, do you have anything for trustee announcements? Or that was
No,
enough?
the only thing for that coming up was with the virtual library card. That caught my attention, but congratulations to the children in the basketball. Everybody was excited. Superintendent was very excited about the turnout. Parents, this is something that I was telling you about as far as coming out and supporting the kids. And it just seems like you're doing just what I knew that you would do. And thank you so much for supporting the kids, because if the kids excited, you get excited, and you can see the work that is being put forth. We're working very hard for our children. Don't ever think that we are not. We always have them forefront. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Mrs. Whitby.
Congratulations, Kia DeFrance and all of the Macomb County Teachers of the Year. East Point Memorial Library spring break events are really, really great for your children, so you should check them out. Very good suggestion, Jennifer. I like that. And I'll just end with a quote. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Confucius.
Thank you so much. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Board. And thank you, community. I want to start by saying that was a great discussion, Board, on the cell phone and AI policies, just to hear all the different ideals and everything, and our superintendent summing it up and going back and getting to work is exciting. As long as we remember that they're all tools in the toolbox of technology. Congratulations to Kira DeFrance, Karen Nardone, and Janae Dent. And also congratulations to the Little Shamrocks basketball as a whole, and then congratulations to the champions of Pleasant View. But it was a great season, great turnout, and like Trustee Whitby said, it's getting the parents and everybody involved and excited about East Point Community School District. So.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
I wasn't.
You still just stopped in the break. I thought you was finished. Go ahead.
Since I do have a quote. Oh man, I lost it. Give me 1 second here.
Usage.
Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow.
Who wrote that?
Thank you. I can't read who wrote it. It's real small.
Is that generated from AI?
No, it isn't. Albert Einstein.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
You're welcome.
Mr. McCain.
Good evening, Board and members of the community. Lots of exciting things happening in our district. Congratulations to Ms. Nardoni, Ms. Dent, and of course, Ms. DeFrance on being nominated for Teacher of the Year, and Ms. DeFrance in particular for being the County Teacher of the Year. Very exciting. Sorry I couldn't make the Shamrocks Basketball Championship, but I'm glad it went well, and want to give kudos, of course, to everyone who worked tirelessly to make these games successful and fun, and excited for the soccer season ahead. I love all the partnerships with the library, with Ms. Williams Sandoval, and our Memorial Library here. Just a reminder, if you don't have your library card, go get one. And if you don't have Libby or Hoopla, download it and check out all the free resources available through both apps. They are absolutely wonderful, and then you don't have to pay for books, audiobooks, all that. Great legislative report, Trustee Richardson. You're welcome. I enjoy going to those meetings and learning about policy with you. And I want to commend our board about the feedback we provided to administration on 2 critical technology policies, and really looking forward in particular to continuing the conversation with staff, students, and parents. Last but certainly not least, very happy that we were able to reward teachers for their hard work over the last school year, nurturing our future leaders with the retention bonus. And as always, my closing quote, this time from Helen Keller: "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." Thank you.
Mrs. Chopra.
I don't really have much tonight except kudos to our East Point teacher of Macomb County. That's awesome. And congratulations to the basketball teams. I know that they have fun. I wish I could partake. Also, parents and students, go to your local VFW and check into our program for scholarships, possible scholarships. And also, I will not be in attendance on April 14th.
Thank you. Mr. Roscoe.
I don't have nothing to say. I just want to say have a wonderful evening. Congratulations to everyone. This is an awesome board, awesome administration, and just have a wonderful evening tonight. I don't have much to say.
Thank you so much. Meeting adjourned 8:12.